Good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel. So you join me from a very cold and miserable day and we're working on an Iveco. Now these vans, I really dislike these vans, Iveco dailies. I used to work on Iveco trucks when I was doing my apprenticeship. I absolutely hated those things. But yeah, we're working on an Iveco daily today and it's got a central locking fault. So we're going to run through the sort of diagnosis that we're going to do on it, and we're going to see if the X-Link can do much functions with the Iveco side of things. I don't really work on Ivecos a lot, I don't see them a lot. The last one I did see, God, what was up with that? I can't even remember, something to do with rear tail lights anyway. But it's a van that I very rarely see. But one thing I do know is if anything goes wrong with them, they're super expensive for the parts, like mega expensive. If you ever watch a professional struggler on YouTube as well, his Iveco daily, when it broke down for two front wishbones, I think there was something like £1,000 a pair. I think that was plus VAT as well. So they're crazy expensive for parts. But luckily enough, this isn't my van. We're just going to diagnose it today. It's got a central locking issue. When you press the lock button on the key, the indicators will just flash fast. So from my past experience with working on these vans, that means that it thinks a door's open. So we're going to check the display on the dash, see if there's any doors open, and we'll go into the live data stream on the X-Link, and we'll also see if it can detect any sort of door statuses. Because like I said, not really used the X-Link. In fact, I don't think I have used the X-Link at all on an Iveco daily. I've used the Phoenix Plus and that done pretty decent for being one of these sort of type of vans. But I'm going to stop blabbering on. We'll get the top down plugged into it and we'll see where the diagnosis takes us. Right, so just to show you what's actually happening. So if you keep an eye on the indicator, I'll press the lock button. You can see flashes fast, so it's more or less detecting an issue with the door. And by the way, I've got this one latched, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to crawl over here, I'm going to turn the ignition on. And we've got quite a lot of warnings on the dash, so you can see we've got a rear door open there, we've got DPF faults, we're not here for that. Brake pads, but that's just a typical Iveco sort of thing. Plenty of warning lights on the dash. So before I focus my tests on the rear door, by the way, I haven't got a wiring diagram for these. I can't get a hold of one, but I do remember there is a little thin wire that detects whether the door's open or closed. So if it's the same setup as the sort of previous ones I've worked on, it shouldn't be too difficult to diagnose it at least. Right, so I've plugged in the top down X-Link and I'm just going to do a health scan. In fact, I'm not even going to do a health scan, I'm just going to go direct into the BCM. So we're going to Iveco model, auto selection, and this one is a daily. We're just going to go into BCM, or body computer. So click OK. I'm going to read fault codes. And we'll see what we've got. So we've got a trailer, ECU fault, stop start, battery, license plate, illumination, short circuit to battery, configuration of failed incorrect component installed. So we haven't got anything here to do with the central locking side, which is a bit strange, but what I'm going to do, let's see what special functions we can do on this. Immobiliser, parameters reading, scheduled maintenance, so that's the two things you can do in the special functions. I don't expect it to do too much because for these sort of vans, ideally you're wanting a dealer tool, but if we go into actuation test to see what actuations we can actually do as well. you can see we've got quite a lot there. Brake lights, low beams. Aye, we've got more or less everything that we would need if we wanted to do an actuation. Now, what I will do is I'll click on one of them. So let's press start. So I don't know if you'll be able to see there. No, it's timed out too quick. So if I go back, front ceiling light. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on central locking, unlock, and hopefully you'll be able to hear this, because obviously I've got my mic on. But if I click on central locking, unlock, I'll click start. So you can see the actuation there was carried out successfully, and you could probably hear the door lock actuators clicking on and off. As far as the scan tool goes, the X-Link is kind of capable of doing a decent amount of the actuation tests, etc. on this Iveco daily van. Right, so I've now went into data stream, and what I'm going to do is go into status, and I'm just going to type in a jar, oh no, type in door. So driver's side door, lateral left door, it's not got a right door so I'm not really interested in that. Passenger side, rear casement door, which is the one that's saying it's open. We'll see what the statuses of all of them are. First one being the actual lateral left door, and the other one being the rear casement door, so the rear doors. But one thing I did notice is, if I graph this, the actual left door itself, if I give this a little bit of a dunt on the side, you can see the status changes to being closed. Now the reason for this is the door's a wee bit askew, it's a wee bit bent, so that's really nothing we can do about that. It's more of a kind of body shop to do a bit of adjustment on it. But the rear casement door, we're going to get a look at that as well. That one doesn't look as if it's caught a bit of wind and it's kind of out of alignment. That one looks alright, so we're going to look at the rear casement door, see if we can come to a conclusion on that. Right, so we're now in the back of the van and we're going to be looking at this switch assembly here. Now you can see once I close the door, this switch right here makes contact with the pads, which obviously has got a multi-pin connector at the back. Now some of these wires will be mainly, the thicker wires will be for the door actuator, so I think there's nothing else on this door apart from top and bottom door actuators. I'm not even sure if the top's got a electronic one, can't remember. But if you have got one of these vans, you'll notice that you've got a little thin wire, which is the second one up, and it's a brown wire. Now that's your door status, so open and close. So what's meant to happen is when you shut this door, so with the door being shut, that is meant to ground out that brown wire. That will then send that feedback to the BCM. The BCM will obviously let the other components in the car or the van know that the door status is now closed, which will then allow the central locking to work. So that is a main reason for the central locking not working the way it should, is it's recognising this door's open, which is affecting all the other doors. So it isn't like a fuse blown or a BCM fault, etc., because we know that we can apply the actuation test on the top-down X-Link, or the top-down Phoenix X-Link, and it works. So just by doing that test we can confirm that the BCM's likely okay, and our only issue here is more or less the status of this rear door. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my multimeter lead. What I'll do is I'll just put these up here, So I'm going to take one of my multimeter leads and I'm going to earth that pin out, latch both door contacts, both door actuators, and we'll see if our central locking will then work correctly. If it does, then we know we need to either bypass that back door, or depending on the parts available, advise the customer to get new door contact switches, get them fitted, and that will resolve all the issues. So I'm just going to take my crocodile clip right there, and I'm going to try and find one of these. So these right here, the little sort of thin back probes, just buy these off of Amazon because I go through a lot of them. When they break, you know, they're only, I think they're maybe about £8 or something for a bunch of them. They come in kind of case that size, so you get quite a lot of them, and when they break, you know, you can easily fling them away. It's not as if you're buying expensive ones like from Picoscope or other sort of places, so they are quite easily disposable. So what I'm going to do is get that pin back probed, earth it out, latch the door actuators, and then we'll check the central lock. So I'm just going to latch that one, and that one will latch up the top, so I'm not too bothered about that. So that's when I shut the door, it'll be fine. And then I'm just going to take my little probe, try and go into the right pin. So we're in there at the moment, and what I'm going to do is find a decent earth. I'm just going to run it down to this nice shiny bolt, and we will go into the cab, and you can see there that our rear door is now shown closed, which is obviously what we want. So I think it's time to try out the central locking. So if we try it out, don't know if you could hear that, but we've no longer got the long flash. And I don't know if you'll be able to hear this door actuator as well. So I put my mic closer to that, and you can hear the door actuator. So you could hear the door actuator going on that side. Now what I'm going to do is just lock it. You can hear that door lock there. You can see that's locked. Unlock it. See, it works fine. Now obviously we do know we have an issue with this sliding door, the actual alignment of it, but at least we've managed to get the central locking working. You can see there. So open, closed. Now this is obviously just a simple central locking issue, nothing too fancy. I'm just going to do a quick scan on the engine side to see what the engine management light is on for. If it's on, you know, for something that we know of, we'll let them know. If not, then if we get approval, we might be looking into that as well. But for now, the rear compartment door needs a new contact switch, which is obviously going to need to be ordered from the dealer. You're not going to get nothing like that aftermarket, I wouldn't think anyway, because it is an Iveco. But yeah, my plan is for the future on the channel is just to upload these little shorter videos, 10 to 15 minutes long, just keeping the channel kind of ticking over. Last video done better, so thanks everybody for tuning into that one. That's put my spirits up a wee bit better. So I'm going to end the video there, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.